Hi, I'm Feroz Khan, and welcome to Drag and Drop Low Code Unplugged, the podcast where we explore the game-changing impact of low code in software development. Join me in insightful conversations with IT leaders and passionate low code enthusiasts who are at the forefront of this digital evolution. Together, we'll explore how early adoption of low code is giving businesses a competitive edge on a global scale. We'll discuss its impact on software development, dissect its role in transforming businesses, and uncover the ways in which it's reshaping career trajectories. So whether you're a seasoned IT professional or a curious enthusiast, be sure to tune in as we share success stories and unravel the mysteries of low code. Subscribe now and stay tuned for a front row seat to the revolution that's shaping the future of technology. So let's go. Hi Manuel, how are you?
All good, always good.
That's good to hear. Thank you for agreeing to be a guest on the podcast. It's great to have you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I've been listening to your podcast and to your other interviews, and they sound very much like a conversation, and that is very good to speak and to listen to feedback. We've already talked before, and you have some very interesting feedback, and I really enjoyed our first conversation, and therefore it's a pleasure to talk with you again about OutSystems, about the certification program, training partners. So it's great to be here. Thank you very much for welcome.
No, I appreciate it. And I agree. That first conversation, I already knew, we definitely have to do a recorded version so other people can hear what you have to say, not just me, so I'm glad, so it'd be good to, start with, for people who may not know who you are, a bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from.
Yeah, sure. I believe most people will not know me because I don't have a big social presence. I'm more in the background, making sure that things work well and that we deliver it with great quality and not really taking the stage very much because I let other people do that. I'm more in the solid background. And so not many people know me, but happy to share a little bit about myself. So I'm Manuel Salgado. I'm 50 years old. I'm married with 6 kids. So it's a big family, big house full of chaos and order too. I live at Caparica. It's a nice surf spot here close to Lisbon. And on my free time, I do some surfing, obviously, and some Krav Maga. It's a martial arts for self-defense.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I like the art, the physical art, and it's good to know self-defense because it's good to be prepared, I would say. Because I was also a former Boy Scout, and be prepared is kind of the mantra in my life. So.
Yeah, amazing. And, it's, in regards to professionally, it'd be good to kind of, obviously you're at OutSystems now. It'd be good to kind of, hear a bit about kind of where you started, kind of what got you into one, technology, and two, kind of, your background's very on the teaching side. So where did those kind of two things, passions, come for you?
Yes. So I interestingly, in my region here in Setúbal, close to Lisbon, there were some in the past, maybe 30 years ago, there were a lot of tech companies and automobile companies that created factories in the region. So they were driving a lot of people to come to electronics, engineering, robotics to support those big factories, right? And so that was the great motivation to come into programming. So I did my first university course in engineering, robotics, automation. And I started working in that 6 months. And I understood that is not for me. I don't like to be a full-time engineer programming and solving programming problems. Everything was urgent and the whole factory is stopping because the machine was not working and I needed to come and solve. So I didn't like the environment, and I was a Boy Scout and a Scout leader, and I really thought I really like education. I really like to build men. That's one of the reasons maybe that I have 6 kids is that I'm a man maker, right?
Yeah, you are.
Right? And so I started teaching, and I taught for 5 years at different levels. Not university levels, but high school, adults at night. So, and at that time, the internet was picking up. I started to use internet in my classroom, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. The moment one student uh, taught me how to create a bomb that could explode your computer by just using a floppy disk, I thought, oh, this
Wow.
is very interesting, but very
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Because he was delivering a schoolwork on a
Yeah.
floppy disk, and he said, "Let me teach you how to build a bomb. Now, here's my floppy disk." And I said, "What?
Yeah.
Now, this is very interesting, very dangerous." I started
Yeah.
using in the first projects, and I thought, okay, I really need to learn with the best on how to do this. This is very
Yeah.
interesting, very, high potential, but very dangerous. And so I went to take a master's. So I sold a lot of things. I stopped my career as a teacher, and I went to take a master at the Institute of Education in the University of London. That is now part of the University College London,
Yeah.
College London, the UCL. And for 1 year and a half, I really learned with the best. And when I came back to Portugal, my idea was I really want to spread the word, the good things, how to use the internet in the context of learning. So I started teaching at the university to future teachers, college teachers, kindergarten teachers, because you can all already start using the technology at kindergarten, but also teaching university teachers, right? Because e-learning was picking up in Portugal at that time. And I really wanted to share what I've known and to learn a lot, because you learn a lot with teachers. They are very difficult students because they know they think a lot.
Yeah.
Very difficult to teach them, but it's good to learn and to work with them. So, and then I joined a company and I started working as instructional designer for e-learning. So, starting from the basics to create a lot of online training. Also gamification. So I worked a lot in international projects, and I ended up managing a team of 12, 14 people in different areas that were delivering international projects for the European Commission, some big institutions in the European space. And my team we released the first serious game using Facebook in Portugal.
Oh,
So we were
wow.
groundbreaking. Serious games were picking up on Facebook.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, we created a big game. It was really interesting for the European Commission.
Yeah.
A big success in Portugal. And so I was on that. And then I sensed that I already had the engineering background, the education background, but now I needed to know how to run the business, because these are three different skills.
Yeah.
So I did an MBA with the IES Business School. And for 2 years, I focused also on the business side. And then I joined OutSystems. So first I started a change management practice and team, because I understood that what most companies wanted when they bought our services, training services, they didn't want to buy training. They wanted to buy a change in their organization.
Yeah.
Therefore, training was just a set of skills and strategies, but there were a lot more things that needed to be done. So change management and the understanding and creating a practice, a methodology, and a team that were starting to deliver change management practices was fundamental in my growth as a professional. And then I joined OutSystems. In that process, OutSystems reached me and said, "Do you want to work with us?" And here we are.
And when OutSystems kind of reached out to you, had you heard of them or low code before that? Were you aware? Obviously, being in Portugal, maybe you've heard of OutSystems, but even just low code, were you aware of what low code was, or any idea? Did you have any kind of opinion on low code?
I never heard the term OutSystems and low code before.
Okay.
When I was reached by Melissa, our recruiter, I didn't have no idea. I had no idea what these two terms mean. So I had to study a lot and I started by obviously seeing some videos, downloading the accessing, logging into the free environment, to the personal environment, creating a first app in 15 minutes. It was quite exciting. Because I did some not apps but websites using Dreamweaver, Macromedia in the past, some things with publisher in the context of my school activities.
Yeah.
Some Captivate. I used several authoring tools, but then to create my own app in 15 minutes, it was quite interesting at the beginning. Then I started doing some online courses, and I thought this is very exciting. This is very exciting, and then. And so I very proudly I joined the company in 2017. It was a very difficult interviewing process. So I had 7 different interviews.
Wow.
With one practical exercise that took me 2 weeks to solve. So it was not easy, and I was hired to start the training partner program.
Yeah.
And the challenge was, okay, so you know about OutSystems. If you don't know, you can check it, but I already knew about OutSystems, OutSystems training. And now design the program. This is what we want to achieve. Just a small sentence. This is what we want to achieve. Go figure it out how we should do it. And that was accepted. And that was my mandate when I started. Okay, let's implement this.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And, obviously, your role now is, you're head of training and certifications, and, when you started, and obviously you had to kind of, what you presented was now kind of your, let's say, stepping stone for, okay, now what I've presented in my interview process, I'm going to now build out, So what was the kind of program at the time? Was there any program in place at all when you joined?
Program in what terms?
Training, with training partners. Was there anything,
No,
kind of?
Partners, no, we had more or less. So we had what we called at the time master resellers in Brazil, Japan, and South Africa. They were the ones delivering the training, and we had, I think, 6 internal trainers with 2 more trainers from a company that today is our training partner, but they were working closely with us. So in total, we had around 8 trainers, but we already had the boot camps, we already had certification programs, so there was no major changes in the way OutSystems deliver this, because we wanted to keep some consistency through time, but we improved a lot the way we delivered things. But yeah, we already had an internal team.
Yeah.
But first, when I started OutSystems, I started by eating the broccoli, as we usually said. So I started with the basics. So I started with 1 month answering support tickets. So really the basics. What are to understand the struggles that people had, making notes of what could be improved based on the feedback that I was getting from the field, talking with customers, organizing boot camps, the basics, talking with customers that wanted boot camps to be delivered when we were preparing for that. And after the boot camp, getting feedback, analyzing how can we improve, talking internally with people, with the team that was already here on how can we improve things. And then that's after I passed, also taking a boot camp. So my initial stage, I also took that the boot camp myself. Like, if you want to manage this in the future, you need to eat the broccoli. That's the best way to learn and to get the feeling of what's happening in the field. And then I started after that initial onboarding stage, and we had 3 or 4 months to create the program.
It's great that you put yourself in that situation, that obviously if I'm going to manage this, I need to know what everyone else goes through, frustrations. I can imagine that helps you kind of tailor out whatever plans you've got for the future. You understand all the pain points for everybody.
Yeah, that was not an option for me. That was not my choice, fortunately. My director said, you need to go through this, and I obviously understood immediately what he wanted to happen. But it was fundamental for me, and obviously he was always a big fan of talking to people, getting feedback, and interviewing people, talking like we are doing today. So I'm not as good as he is doing this, but that resonated well. Every time I have the opportunity, so to me, when I receive an email with feedback or a support ticket, I always challenge myself and challenge the team to understand that this is a good thing. It means that we are touching people, and that we need to do something for this. We need to solve this issue. And the more edge cases, the more extreme the situation is, the more we can improve, and that is perfect. That's what we are here for.
Yeah. And, your role's, head of training and education. Can you kind of give us a bit of a, in regards to your role, what's the kind of, goal for you, in your role that, what's the kind of end goal for you to achieve out of your role within the business?
Yeah, so we are responsible for three things. I'm responsible for three things. I have a small team working with me, but I'm responsible for the certification program, for the instructor-led training for our bootcamps, the bootcamps that we sell to our customers, partners, and individuals, and also for the training partners. So there's a network of training partners that we have and that I manage personally. And so in respect to this, what we want is to really increase the number of certified developers worldwide, not just certified, but pushing them to be certified at the higher level they possibly can, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not enough just to take the initial certification. It's good, but it's always the first step. So incentivizing people to move forward, to grow in their careers is fundamental for me and for us. So we want to certify the number, we want to increase the number of certified developers, but also at more senior levels. So the second thing, and also throughout the world, right? So not just focus on the countries where we have more developers, but also that long tail of developers in many countries, and to cater for them, to provide them with the best experience that they can, so they can get certified and build their career in OutSystems. So more certified developers at higher levels. In terms of bootcamps, so it's to train people. So my understanding, obviously, that we have different ways of teaching, right? You have the online training that is good if you want to learn on your own. If you are more advanced and you already have a big foundation knowledge and you just want to learn that specific thing that is going to unblock the app that you're building, the online training is awesome for that. But for many people, either because of their personality, their lack of focus, their difficulty because they are already delivering projects, they are pressured in time, and they need the more focused learning, instructor-led training. Our bootcamps are fundamental. So they are very useful. And so we want to increase the number of people that are able to take bootcamps, right? So more trained people. And also more training partners, right? More training partners, better training partners, because they are our feet on the ground. They can deliver in their local languages, and we now have we have around 120 certified trainers. That my team certifies, supports, provides the training materials, and we support them, right? So we want more training partners, better training partners, that we can increase the impact, because there are two things that are critical for OutSystems and for any company in this IT business. First is a good product. It needs to be a product that delivers on the promise and that is always up to speed to the different technology changes, right? And the needs of the customer. So a good product is essential, but also it's essential to have developers that can use the product and use it well. So good product and developers that can use it are fundamental for any company in this line of business, and for OutSystems also. So I take a big role. My team takes a big role in this. Let's have developers that are enough and that are good in using our product.
It's funny you said about, obviously, there's people who can do obviously the self-learning themselves, and then there's the number of people we speak to day on the podcast. We find, the people who've done the self-learning, they've had a much difficult journey compared to the instructor-led, where they feel a bit more supported. They've got someone to ask questions to, where, the self-learning, I think, is they find a bit more on their own. It can be done, but the feedback is usually it's a longer process than compared to going to a boot camp or, an instructor-led training, where that they feel really helps them, or even just being mentored by someone.
Because in essence, we learn by experience, but we learn with others, right? And to have the online training is very good. but it's a little bit chaotic if you are not very well organized and disciplined and focused. It can be very, where should I start? What should I do next? Am I learning the right stuff? Am I applying it right? Because it's not just a matter of learning, it's also applying, right? And during our bootcamp, you learn, you apply, you get immediate feedback, you have somebody, even if you're not communicating that you have a problem, somebody is looking at you and comes with a suggestion. If you have a question, you get immediate feedback. You get unstuck very, very easy. So it's a more ordered and supportive way of learning. And we call it bootcamp. It's interesting. We thought about renaming it often, and we are again thinking about renaming it.
Okay.
But the bootcamp carries a very strong, because it's kind of a transformative experience, right? So it's usually a 5-day training. Most of our bootcamps have the duration of 5 days, from Monday morning to Friday afternoon. And the idea is very intensive, practical, very engaging. It's a transformative. The developer that joined on the Monday morning is not the same professionally that left on Friday afternoon. Hopefully he's passionate about OutSystems as much passion as the trainer. And that's why trainers are so important, because they are not just there to teach, they are there to support, they are there to guide and also to manage some adverse reactions, right? I don't know why I'm being brought to this bootcamp. What is OutSystems? I like traditional coding. Why am I here? I have this problem. How can I solve it? So that connection with the trainer is fundamental. And the CSATs that we have, it's 92%. It's we are rated 4.4 out of 5, so it's a great learning experience. And really, it's and people, most of them, really leave the bootcamp passionate about OutSystems and with the desire to learn more and to go and apply it and to learn more, because that's good.
And you mentioned, obviously the importance, there's a big importance on certifications for you and the importance of training partners. Why is there such an importance on the certification program and the certain levels, that for OutSystems, why do you feel this is something that is very beneficial for our developers, but also our customers who are going to hire these developers?
Yeah. So I believe, and we believe, that the certifications have two major levels of importance, two major reasons why they are important, especially in these professional certifications, right? Now, the first thing is a recognition that the developer, that the professional, has the right knowledge and skill set that is required, that is understood as required for that professional role and level, right? So I might start learning, but how do I know that I've passed through enough experiences to make me good at this level? How do I know? How do hiring companies know if that developer, if that professional in particular, has the right knowledge and expert level that I can hire? Obviously, there are other things that can be used, but the first thing is the certification. So, and it's good for the professional. We all like to be recognized. So I can see that for many professionals that are certified, it's a matter of pride. It's good for them, right? They are confirmed by OutSystems or by the certifying body that they know enough, that they are good at this. They can continue their career from now on because they are good at this moment. So the first thing is the recognition, either from the person itself, because we need some self-esteem. We need to have that self-esteem, and the certification program helps with that. Also, on the flip side, if I don't pass the exam, it means that I probably need to study more. I need to study better. I need to pass through a set of experience that I still don't have. So it's a good thing. But also for the hiring company, it's good. It's a good starting point for the conversation. It makes the conversation easier and potentially more effective moving forward. If I know that, okay, that person already starts with those certification, okay, now we can start checking that knowledge and experience. But the second, so this is the first thing, the recognition, official recognition. The second thing is that the certification provides a good growth plan. So the question when you are joining a new technology, a new product is, where should I start? Okay, I start with playing a little bit with a free environment, doing some small apps, an online training. Okay, but now I'm taking this seriously. What should I do to take this seriously? Okay, now you have the first associate certification,
Yeah.
right? You're not meant to have a lot of experience, just the fundamental knowledge. So
Yeah.
let's assess first if you have the fundamental knowledge. And then you ask, okay, what do I need to do to pass the exam? Okay, so
Yeah.
there's a set of guided paths,
Yeah.
a set of experience that you need to pass. Okay, then you have a path. Now you pass the exam and you say, okay, what comes next? And my question is, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a security expert? Do you want to go deeper into development web practices? Do you want to be an architect, or are you already working as an architect and you want to validate your knowledge?
Yeah.
So you decide where you want to go. And the certification program presents this growth knowledge. So our understanding of a full stack developer, a complete developer, has all the certifications. This means that he or she, they have passed through all this, they were tested on all of these experiences. Experience is good, but it's sometimes not enough. Years of experience.
Yeah.
Because many times you might be working 10 years as an OutSystems developer and only be clustered in a small area of knowledge. You are always doing the same thing with the same use case, the same type of app, solving the same type of problem. So saying I have 10 years of experience, well, it's good, but what have you done with your experience?
Yeah.
And sometimes developers they are stuck in that. How are they growing? Certification programs help. So you are learning, you are being tested, you pass, great, you can move forward. You don't pass, go back, relearn, practice more, and go again for the test. So it's and obviously experience is important. And our first conversation was about that. Are certifications important or not? My belief and our common belief is that they are, but obviously they should be just what they're. There should be an equilibrium, a balance between certifications and the real practice experience. Both should be together, I believe. And I think that a good developer has both. This is not understood by everybody the same way, but I always distrust a little bit good experienced developers that were never certified. They say, I don't believe in certifications. It's an ego thing. Well, sometimes it's a self-esteem thing. It builds your ego. But not taking exams and not accepting to be tested might also show that you have a big ego, that you don't want to be assessed and put into stake. So well, it's it's a very interesting topic for me.
It is. And I think a good example is also, if you look at, you've got the ODC certifications, where if you look at a lot of developers might not have the opportunity to work on an ODC project as yet. So at least, they can set themselves up by, getting the ODC certification. Obviously most people are still working on 11. So by, having the opportunity to get themselves certified in ODC, when the time comes for a new project or a new position, they can already show, look, I've already passed the ODC certification. So I've got the basic understanding of what you're looking for.
Yeah, correct. 100%. And especially in this case, it's particularly important as access to the product in a corporate environment is not yet available for everybody, as you said. But you can already start to understand the differences between 11 and ODC. You can play with the product in the context of learning. You have a sandbox where you can mess up. There's no problem. You're just experimenting, and you are also gaining the understanding, but also having a reassurance, again, a recognition of OutSystems that, okay, you have done what you can do at the moment. In the future, you have the opportunity to use it. So keep tuning.
Yeah, exactly. And, another thing kind of we come across, regularly. Obviously, a lot of people talk about, when you're taking a certification exam, it's very strict. It's very, very rigorous. Can you explain the reasoning behind why the process is the way it is?
Yeah. First is it's a professional certification program. It needs to be rigorous, to be understood as something serious and not sloppy. So it needs to be rigorous, and we are the rigor starts with us in our team in the way we do our work. We prepare the exams, we prepare the training. So the rigor starts with us, with my team, with OutSystems, and constantly improving because there are no perfect things, but the rigor starts with us. So we are the first ones to call the rigor onto us. Now, a major so it cannot be sloppy. There are three mindsets that we have on our certification program, and that's why we are always rigor. The first thing is the certification program needs to be relevant. It means that all the exams and the path that we are laying out needs to be relevant, important, needs to be what matters for our market, for our customers, for our partners, and for the individuals, right? We are not going to create exams just because we want to make more money or there's something fancy happening that we want to create an exam just because. That doesn't exist. So it needs to be relevant. So all the things are relevant. The second mindset is it needs to be consistent, meaning that through time, it needs to be consistent, meaning that if you are a developer, Feroz, that is starting today, that you want to bet on OutSystems, your future career movements for the next 3 to 5 years, because managing things, planning things for more than 5 years is it's a wild guess. But if you want to start your career in OutSystems for 3 to 5 years, you are committed to that, and you start your first exam today, we want to make it consistent so that you can believe that in 3 years, the exam that you made today still holds value. We're not changing all the time, so it's consistent through time. The second thing is, in terms of consistency, is consistency in the role. So if you have different levels, they make sense together. So we have the associate level with one exam, that you have the specializations. At the end, you are granted the professional level. So it's consistent. And it's consistent. So, and the way we take the exams is also consistent. So we don't have different exams with different proctors, with different experiences. Once you take the first exam, you might struggle a little bit because it's the first time you are doing it. But the second, it's easier because it's similar to the first. The subject matter is different, but the way OutSystems, the way we take the exams is very consistent. So the first is relevancy, consistency, and the third is reputation. And that comes with why is it so rigorous? Because we need to hold the reputation. This is important for OutSystems, but also important for all the developers that were certified along the time, all our customers and partners that invested for their developers to be certified, is that we do our best to maintain the reputation of the program. And this means that we need somebody to watch the exams. There is no cheating, and that we are giving the badge to the person that took the exam. And that is very challenging. It seems very easy. But to guarantee that we decrease the cheating almost to zero, and that we are guaranteeing that the person that has registered, that is taking the exam and getting the badge are the same. That's very challenging. So yeah, we are rigorous, but there's a balance, serious balance between being rigorous. What is the right level of rigorous? And let me just share a couple of thoughts about proctoring, because most of the complaints and the feedback from the rigor comes from the proctoring, right? So there's no serious certification program without a proctor. If you can do a quiz on your own and you get a grade of that quiz, but if there's nobody watching guaranteeing that you are the right person, you're not cheating, it's not a certification program that is worthwhile taking. It's a kind of a stepping stone. It might be a quiz that will help you to learn better, to guarantee that you have the right, but it's not a certification program. The second thing is that people cheat. That's part of human nature. particularly, not all people cheat, but cheating is a reality.
Yeah.
And we need to understand it as a reality, particularly when so much is at stake when we are at the professional level. And passing an exam might be a good stepping stone on my career, or even I might get fired because my company requires me to get certified in 2 months.
Yeah.
And so if the stake is higher, I take more risk in cheating if the stake is higher.
Yeah.
And so this is a certification program, a professional. The stakes sometimes are very high, and people, if they are allowed, they will take more. They want to take more risk. To cheat. So cheating it's natural, and we need to understand it as something that happens. And it's very hard to fight cheating. There are a lot of techniques and technology today with small cameras, with recording, with their technology today helps a lot in cheating. So being aware of this is fundamental. It's a reality that cheating happens, but we should treat everybody the same. So as we start, we cannot. So we need to have a set of rules that we can follow with everybody. Disregarding race, gender, we treat everybody the same. But at the same time, we are aware that not all people are the same. So if we have a disability, or if you have some religious situation that you cannot follow all the rules, that we treat everybody the same. So the rules are all similar to everybody, but at the same time, we guarantee that specific situations have a specific approach without giving an unfair advantage. So if somebody's blind, they can all take an OutSystems exam, but they need to prove that they are blind. They can have somebody next to them to read the questions, but we need to guarantee there's no unfair advantage there. So but also another thing that brings many times this perception of rigorous depends a lot on the culture of the test candidates. For example, we have one step in the procedure where you need to show your pockets, right? Because you need to show that you don't have any electronics here. Because there are situations where you get information in Morse code. This happens on your smartphone or some device that you have in yourself. So you need to show that you don't have anything in your pockets. For many countries, for many cultures, that is no problem. Okay, let me show that. For others, can you please show me your pockets? And they say, you think I'm stealing? You think I'm a cheater? Immediately, they are not used to have that space invaded. And so for them, it's a violation of their personal space. Why do I have this is just an OutSystems exam. Why am I showing my pockets? This is stupid. And then there's some feedback but it's important to show your pockets, because by looking at situations that happened in the past, we need to do that. It's reasonable to do that step. And so also AI now is bringing new ways of proctoring now. So today we require somebody physical, a human being, to be on the other side of the camera, or on the test centers to be looking at your exam with the camera. But with AI, you might have different situations. We are already following the trends. We did some testing with that. We are looking at the feedback that some other competitors or other companies that are first follow. So they are first on that, what they are giving us. And so we are aware of that. We are not moving. We are now moving to using AI in the background to support the human proctor, and not really substituting the human proctor, but we are looking into that. And my suggestion is, when we are getting ready, and this is about the rigor, right? So you need to, when coming for the exam, my suggestion from reading thousands of feedbacks, thousands of histories since 2017, the first thing is you need to be prepared. Like the Boy Scout thing,
Yeah.
come prepared. And this means technically, so you need to look at the exam detail sheets. You need to look at what is the content of the exam, what topics should I learn, talk with somebody that already taken the exam
Yeah.
on their experiences. So come prepared technically, but also on what to expect during the exam. Because if we have a guide, how to prepare for the exam guide, it's an A4 sheet that has a summary of the tips that we share. I would say if you want to come prepared for the exam, read this first. So it tells you what to expect during the exam checkup, how to prepare your room, so remove the clutter, what you can bring, what not to bring. You can bring water if you can use your computer if you can. So come prepared, because it's not just, oh, I know this, I studied a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm ready for the exam. Are you really? Because you need to know what to expect, what to bring. If you already have your phone outside the room, you reduce the hassles.
Yeah.
If you already know that your pockets are to be shown,
Yeah.
don't carry anything in your pockets and just show the damn pockets. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
no one's telling you that you're a cheater.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just treating everybody the same, because people cheat, and
Yeah.
we just want to guarantee that you are a fair game. If we do this for everybody, then we reduce the cheatness to zero, and that's fair for everybody. That's what
Yeah.
we want with the certification program. So yes, we are rigorous. There's a reason for that. Learn the guide, and if you have questions, do ask. I'm available on LinkedIn. If something troubles you, go and help. Go and open a support case, or reach me on
Mm.
LinkedIn. I'll be happy to guide you and to have a discussion with you or your company about this.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do so, like I've been doing all these years.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I think,
hopefully it's helpful.
yeah, and I think also, what you do, obviously, that rigorousness of that process for a business like ours, which is recruitment, hiring people to place them with the customer, it actually helps, because then when we send someone to a customer who's got these certifications, the customer can be, confident that they haven't just earned this badge from just, willy nilly, really easily. They've had to go through a really hard process to earn how many ever badges they've got in whatever specialization. So it does help, and it also even take us out of the equation when customers are hiring. That's something we both said, experience is great. These things are kind of great to have to complement, your experience. So that way the customer can see, yes, you've done it, but also you've gone through this, this tough certification, and
Yeah.
you've earned the badge after going through, because they know how tough it is to get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely, 100%. And also, it's a sign of that you're taking your career seriously, and
Yeah.
you are investing the time and many times your money
Mm.
to build your career, because that's a good thing, right? Especially today, where reality is changing
Mm.
very much, and now we have ODC under the continuous
Yeah.
delivery methodology, that the product is constantly changing, getting better, and you need to be constantly learning, right? What you knew 1 year back, it's not what you need to know
Yeah.
today. So the ability to continuously learning, to take your career seriously, and to invest in that, it's a good sign that it's interesting to come to know this person,
Yeah.
and to have a dialogue and understand if we have a good cultural fit, and if we can work together, and if you have the right skills for the job that we have at hand. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned briefly earlier, talking about money, and we see, on LinkedIn, you'll see people doing posts about, I've got this certification. They'll have a number of badges on their page, and our contact came through a post I did, and someone commented about, it seems like certifications is just a revenue stream for OutSystems. What would be your kind of response to people who have that opinion?
Yeah, that is a fair opinion, right? I understand that perspective, right? Because it costs money, right? It costs, from, if you are paying for your exams individually, it even costs more.
Yeah.
And in some geos, in some countries, the $200 is very cheap. For
Yeah.
others, is a month's salary.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the So it's a huge investment for some people, and I understand that. And obviously, it would be beneficial to drop the price or even to offer them. We offer a lot of exams throughout the year, but curiously, it's interesting that. So let me be clear. So OutSystems is a product company where revenue coming from training services, boot camps, and training partnerships and exams. It's not supposed to be a major revenue stream for us, right? We are here, as again I said in the beginning. I say it again. The purpose of exams and training partnerships is to have a good set of developers that can use our product very well. So this is our mission, right? And so this is not a revenue stream for us. Now, what we also need to understand is that there's a huge investment needed here. We need to pay every time. So I've talked previously about proctoring, right? Having somebody watching the exam and making sure that it's fair game for everybody to maintain the reputation of the program. That costs money. And we need, for every exam that is taken, we have to pay a fee to a proctoring company that has been partnering with us since 2019. So we have to pay for that service. And therefore, if we have to pay, the money needs to come from somewhere. Exams are very expensive to build, are very complex to build. Sometimes it seems that it's just a couple of questions, but that is not true. To create an exam question, it takes around one full day to create one good question. Now, if you have an exam with 100 questions, 200 questions, it takes a long time, and it's time from a senior developer. The exam question is not made by somebody that just started OutSystems. It's a guy that needs to be solving big problems to our customers and partners, and he's investing his time in creating or validating or reviewing exam questions. So it takes a lot of time to create these good assets that we have today, and so this needs to be paid. So we are obviously, people pay for the boot camps, people pay for each exam, but the way we use the money is to reinvest in creating more questions, better experience, more training assets, better training assets, to have somebody full-time answering support tickets as fast as we can. Because if you're taking an exam and it's 9 a.m. in the morning, you are taking an exam, you need to do that exam today, because you've prepared for the past week. You've not used your time with your family during the weekend to prepare for the exam on Monday. If you have a struggle, if you have a problem during your exam on Monday, you're not able to take that exam immediately, you want your problem to be solved that day. You want to take that exam today, not in a week's time. So you need to have a team that is constantly supporting and answering fast to the developers. It's not always possible because sometimes problems are difficult to solve, but we tend to unblock most of these situations in the same day. So that takes money. That level of service takes money, and we are reinvesting everything that we earn, all the revenue that we take from exams, into the certification program, building better training materials, etc. And also, it comes at the now. But you might say, okay, but how is not OutSystems investing in this? And this is a strategy from a good practice from education services as a whole. It's a best practice, because education services are sometimes deemed, they are at the end of the long tail. So development, creating projects, building apps is it's important, having a nice product. And at the end, many times, education is not really, it comes at the end of the project. It comes at the end of the worry, the concerns of the leadership team of the company. So we need to guarantee that education services are self-sufficient in terms of budget. So everything that we need to do to create better exams, to improve the way you do things, we need to be self-sustainable, because this makes us more independent of the budget constrictions that sometimes happens. So if the company says, okay, we have no more money for something, because we are continuously raising some revenue, we can continue our efforts. Right? And also, and this has been a reality, also contributing a little bit to the profits of the company. Like we're saying, okay, we have this business, we are building this network of developers, of training partners. We are making a dent in the world. We are generating a lot of developers, certified developers, good developers, and we are still contributing to the company. So we are doing a good job, aren't we? Yeah. So do continue.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
level of independence is really important.
Yeah. And you mentioned training partners, and it's something that has been quite important for OutSystems. Having these training partners. Can you kind of tell me, how beneficial and important the training partners has been to OutSystems as a business?
Yeah, they've been very important, essential in this. OutSystems today is a partner-based company, so we act through partners. But I dare to say that the training business was the first to be fully partner-based. So in 2017, when I joined the company, we made the decision to be fully partner-based. As I said, we had 6 to 8 trainers, depending on the time. But we decided, okay, we want to go full partners because our partners are very tired. They are there's an increased demand for boot camps. They have to travel around the world and only delivering in English and Portuguese and a couple small languages. But we were requested to deliver more training, more in different languages and in accordance to the local culture, because culture differs. What you expect from a trainer in Japan is different from what you expect from a trainer in the Netherlands or in the US. The authority is different, right?
Yes.
For example, just to give you an example, in some countries, if a bootcamp participant asks a question and the trainer says, well, that's a great question, I'm not sure about the answer, but I'm going to put this on the parking lot, and tomorrow I'll come back with the answer. And I'm the trainer. I said this. I go and meet with my team, ask our experts internally, and tomorrow, when the course starts, I'm there with the answer. For some countries, this is awesome. This is what the trainer should be. For other cultures, for a trainer to say, I don't know the answer for this, it loses authority immediately because the trainer is supposed to know everything about that product, about what they're teaching.
Yeah.
So being able to deliver in accordance to the local culture and language is fundamental in today's time. So in 2017, we made this decision. And so training partners are fundamental to increase our impact, not just in instructor-led training, but also in e-learning. We have some training partners that are experts in delivering online courses, remote delivery, etc., but also to deliver with excellence. So we have a trainer program where the training partners bring their senior developers and we support them, we certify them, and we support them continuously in order to make sure that they are excellent trainers. They deliver with quality. We monitor the CSAT on all the bootcamps that are delivered by them, and they deliver in the local language. Today we have a network of 28 training partners. We have 6 premier. These are the ones that generate the biggest impact and that we support better because they're the ones that they generate the biggest impact.
Yes.
But also we have 22 authorized training partners, all in all the 3 geos, APAC, EMEA, and Americas. And they are fundamental. We could not have so many people certified and supported throughout the world without our training partners. So the pass rate, for example, that from developers that are supported by training partners is much higher, significantly higher than people that are working on their own.
Right. Yeah. Amazing. And, with, in the time you've been kind of, doing the training and education, do you have any kind of, success story of anyone that's, benefited greatly from, the boot camps or the trainings, or, is there any, success story that you can think back of that, wow, that's really helped them out?
Yeah. So we have hundreds of them because if you go and look for our training partners web pages and the feedback from the developer schools that are our bootcamps that are offered, that is an investment from OutSystems to a selected group of developers that we want to try OutSystems. But the feedback that we get from them is that really it's a transformative experience that launched them into their career. So I challenge you to go to our training partners webpage and know who are the training partners, follow them on LinkedIn, and you can see numerous stories of people that have taken 1 week training, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 months training, because we have training partners that have very different training programs. Those that are just 1 week, and others that you are fully supported for a whole year. And there are lots of individual transformation stories, but we do have two big customers that really benefited from our bootcamps with a more structured training program. It's T-Mobile from the US, where they had to train 100 people, 100 developers from different areas. Wow. Many of them very tight, very grabbed to their traditional way of coding, and they need to be trained in a quarter. Train 100 people in a quarter, while we were supporting them building dozens of apps in such a short while. And we worked, we understood what their training needs were. We adapted our training to those training needs, and we worked with a change manager because they had an organizational change manager in the communication, in creating awareness, in demystifying some preconcepts, some general ideas or disbelief about low code and OutSystems. And that was a success story. The other one, more recent, is with Yale University. That is a success case with OutSystems. And obviously they are a very distinguished university. And they take learning very seriously. And we managed to have a great impact in the development of their internal teams, because they had a very interesting program of creating internal apps for students and their school body and teachers, and that is very interesting. And we, with our bootcamps and certifications, we help making that a reality. So these are two use cases that are particularly important. T-Mobile, the big giant. The Yale University is a very distinguished university that it took us great pleasure to deliver this training and to see the results.
Yeah, that's amazing. And finally, the final question, just about, obviously, looking ahead, what can the community look forward to in regards to, is there any, you've touched on some things briefly, in regards to certifications and training and boot camps, what can people, is there any changes expected, anything they can look forward to, anything you can share with us?
Yes. So we are now focusing majorly in ODC. So we are keeping traditional, we are keeping O11, and we are improving. As we get feedback, as we understand that we can improve something, we will do that. But we are new stuff will be in ODC. And ODC, as you know, it's a moving target, right? The product is always changing, is always getting better. This requires that we have updated exams, we have new exams, but also exams that are updated. As I said, if you're taking a certification exam 1 year ago in ODC, today you have new skills that you should have learned and you should be assessed. So we are rearranging the way we are adapting to this continuous delivery methodology, and so these are new stuff that is coming. So focusing on ODC, it's a moving target. So everything, all the pieces are moving. The training is moving. Certification is moving. So be aware of that. Also, there will be some changes in the certification program, positive changes. So as I said, we have traditional, we have O11, we have ODC. It's becoming complex to understand. Where should I start? And so we are making it simpler. Depending on what you want to do, it gets easier to understand where to start and what to move from there on. And we are focusing on what matters most. So we ask the partners and the developers from our partners, because partners are our trusted advisors also.
Yeah.
They have their feet on the ground, so we trust it. We ask the partners, the developers from the partners, what matters most to you in terms of the certification program, what can be improved. We got a lot of feedback, and we are focusing on in the future on what matters most to keep the program relevant and more adequate. But we're also guaranteeing that with these changes, we are adding value to the partners, to the customers, and to the individuals, developers, and not taking anything. So if you already took an exam, it will not become a waste of time or a waste of money.
Yeah.
We are reconverting that into something else that continues to make sense to you. So we are just improving, making it simpler, focusing on ODC because that's where we are focusing at the moment throughout the company. And there you go. So these are the major changes that were at the beginning of 2025. We are already seeing changes, but throughout 2025, you will see this happening.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak, Manuel. It was really great to speak to you. And, I think, training and certifications is a big, it's an important part of probably every developer's journey for their career. So I think it'll be very helpful for them to hear what you've had to say and what they can look forward to. So I really appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you for having me. I don't know if you are going, Feroz, to the One conference in Amsterdam.
I'll be there.
So let us meet there. And
yes, definitely.
I invite everybody that is listening to go to One. It's our major conference. It's a good opportunity to learn from the best, and also network, right? So it's a great opportunity to talk to people. Sometimes we only talk once a year, twice a year in these circumstances. So I'll be meeting with dozens of people already scheduled, and all our training partners will be there. So it's a great opportunity to talk with them. And I invite everybody to be there. Now you know me.
Exactly.
You can go to the community booth. I will be there. We'll also be running certifications on site. So if you want to take your exam, hopefully there are still some open slots. You go and look on our web conference website. There's a tab there where you can get certified on the spot. So let's talk. Come to the community booth, and let's have a nice conversation. I'll be there for that.
Sounds great. Thanks, Manuel. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to today's episode, which is brought to you by ITRAC. We are a leading staffing firm that solely specializes in supplying both contract and permanent low-code professionals to organizations globally. Navigating the niche landscape of the low-code market requires the best talent, and we recognize its critical importance for our clients. Whether you're a company looking to strengthen your team, an individual seeking the next career move, or someone entirely new to the world of low-code, we're here for you. Our extensive experience and in-depth market knowledge enables us to quickly pinpoint the ideal candidates while offering expert advice and support at every stage of your low-code journey. Reach out to us through our website or connect with me directly on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to assist you. Thank you once again for joining us today. We'll be back next week with another insightful episode. Until then, take care.